Okay, so one of the first things we need to do is remove the wheel. 19 millimeter, remove your lug nuts. Remove your wheel. Okay, I took the liberty of spraying everything down. We're going to remove this 10 millimeter headed bolt right here for the ABS wire. Let's remove this 32 millimeter axle nut. Tiny bit of penetrant. Now you need a punch and your hammer. Go right in the center. Get it moving. Next, we're going to remove the bolt that holds the knuckle to the strut. I'm going to hold this side with the 21 and remove the nut with the 21 as well. Same for the lower. Let's give these a couple loving bonks. There's one. The reason why it was difficult to take out is because of these knurled edges. That just presses in there and keeps it held firm. Next, let's remove our 18 millimeter outer tie rod end nut. Next, we're going to use our hammer and bonk right here on the knuckle, being careful not to damage the tie rod. Let's get this out of here. This should come down nice and easy. Pay attention for your brake flex hose. We're just going to tie this up. All right, I'm just going to wiggle this around, try to get the axle out. Okay, so we're going to take a little strap or whatever you've got, maybe a piece of rope, and you just want to tie it around this axle and hold it to anything that's going to make it so it can't slide out, because we're going to be popping it out of the transmission. I'm just going to bring this over around here. Now I'm going to get underneath the vehicle with a pry bar. I'm going to go up against the axle and the differential / transmission here. I'm just going to try to pop this out. I've got my collection bucket. Nice. Hold the axle. Pull the axle out of the way. Okay, so now you want to take a rag and clean your seal where the axle rides. When you do that, you want to check around it to make sure it's not torn. Now would be a perfect time to replace it, and generally speaking, it's a good idea to do at the same time as doing an axle. Okay, so let's get our axle in here. Just going to try to weasel it by everything. There we go. All right. I like to leave the nut on here and use a rubber mallet to bonk it in. You definitely don't want to use a metal hammer, and you don't want to damage any of these threads. Apply pressure. Okay, that sounded like it went in. I'm going to check it. That looks great. Remove your axle nut. So now we need to be able to move the knuckle around. Let's get our axle in there. Beautiful. I'm going to hang this back for a second. Let's get this back together. This one. Torque these to 65 foot-pounds. Let's get the nut back on our outer tie rod end. This up through the knuckle. Snug it up. Torque this to 55 foot-pounds. Torqued. Let's get our ABS wire back on here. We're going to put our axle nut on here and just tighten it up until it just barely bottoms out. So now it's time to torque the axle nut. We're going to torque it to 118 foot-pounds. I used a nice long pry bar just to hold these studs so nothing can turn. Torqued. Put the wheel up on. So let's snug up the lug nuts. Let's torque our lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds. Torqued. Okay, so now that you finish your repair, it's important to make sure that you get your car safely down to a reputable local alignment shop.